Hey, this is going to be the tarot reading for September 2020, the Sun Capricorn. So if you have a Sun, Moon, or Rising Sign in Capricorn, excuse me, or part of Fortune sign in Capricorn, then this reading's for you. It's for September 2020, and I'm going to start off by looking at the astrological influences for the month, and then I'm going to go into a Celtic cross tarot reading. And yeah, um, yeah, I've explained this in previous videos, but somewhere like around 30% or so of the population is going to have a sun, a moon, or a rising sign in Capricorn. So, or part of fortune. So with that being said, um, not everything in this reading is going to resonate for every Capricorn. That's impossible. But for a lot of Capricorns, a fair bit of it should resonate. A lot of it will resonate. And for a fair bit of Capricorns, a moderate amount of it will resonate. And for some Capricorns, less of it will resonate. So take what resonates and leave the rest. And yeah, I also offer private readings. So if anyone's interested in that, the email is in the description of the video, and a reading will be done by Skype. And private readings, obviously, they're a lot more specific to your specific situations. So yeah, these are general readings, so not every single thing is going to apply to everyone. So yeah, with that being said, start. The astrological influences for the month of September 2020 are okay. Interesting. We have Saturn in Gemini in the third house. Huh. What does this indicate? Well, Saturn, for one, is your ruling planet. Saturn is the planet that represents boundaries. It represents form. It represents structures. It can represent karma. It represents things that are long-lasting or durable. It represents limitations. It's been known throughout history as the Greater Malefic. So it's generally known to bring about bad things happening. But it depends. It depends on the sign that's in, how it operates, and the house that's in for the individual. Sometimes, like, if it's dignified, like in a good sign, in a good house, then and well aspected, then it can bring about good things for a person in their chart. With a person who has that kind of placements in their natal chart. But otherwise, unless it's pretty strong, it generally foretells negative things happening. But like restrictions or delays or blockages of some sort or limitations. Yeah. So Saturn in Gemini in the third house. It's kind of interesting because Gemini and the third house have somewhat of a correspondence between each other. The houses, they don't equal the signs like some people believe, but there is a correspondence between the houses and the signs. And the third house is the house that corresponds to Gemini. So there is like some correlation between them. So Gemini represents communication. It represents mental abstractions. It represents seeing both sides of an issue, and taking like multiple viewpoints of a different thing, or give an idea, or whatever it is that they're focusing on, right? The third house represents It can represent short journeys, such as like to and from work. It can represent one's neighborhood. It can represent short communications, messages. It can represent early school, like elementary school and stuff like that. Whereas the ninth house would represent higher education, like college and university and stuff like that. Hmm. As a house, also it represents, like acquaintances and stuff like that, and connections with people that are kind of light, I guess. Like um, acquaintances and stuff like that, and like casual friends and stuff like that. Um, hmm. So Saturn and Gemini in the third. What does this indicate? Well, the third house and Gemini both correlate with the Luns. Hmm. And Saturn represents restrictions. Huh? Okay. Okay, for you Capricorns, this indicates that during the month, you could have lung problems. Yeah, this isn't medical advice of any kind. I'd, suggest, seeing a doctor for that. But, you could have hmm, the coronavirus attacks the lungs, the breathing. So this could indicate that, maybe idea to, wear those masks this month, Capricorns, because, Saturn in the third house in Gemini, that can represent, restrictions or, health problems concerning the lungs, right? Due to the double correspondence of Gemini and the third house of the lungs, right? Or breathing in general, those kind of parts of the body that, you do that stuff. That, compose the respiratory system, essentially. Um, yeah, I'd suggest, that's what I'm getting. That's one of the first, when I looked at the combination of these, one of the first things I'm getting is that there could be lung problems this month. So with that being said, like I said, coronavirus attacks the lungs, right? So it might be an idea to wear those masks this month, because it's a strong indicator. Having, Saturn in the house of the lungs, because each of the houses corresponds to a certain body part, and each of the signs correspond to a certain body part. And since there's a correspondence or correlation, there's a correlation between the third house and Gemini. It's Gemini is the third sign, and the third house is, right? So they each rule the same body part, right? Which is the lungs and respiratory system and nervous system. So with that being said, I'd, if you're having like breathing difficulties or anything like that, maybe I'd strongly suggest seeing a doctor. And moreover, for some of you, this could indicate nervous system issues during the month as well, because Gemini and the third house both correlate to the nervous system as well. So, and Saturn being in that sign and in that house, it represents that there could be restrictions or issues regarding those systems or organs in the body, right? So yeah, but like I said, I'm not a doctor, and so see the appropriate professionals and all that stuff, and it may be an idea to wear those masks this month if you haven't been up to now, Capricorns. That's one possible manifestation of this. For others of you, for others of you, speaking too quickly. Jeez Louise. Anyway. Jeez. Feeling tight. Tighter than nuns. I'm not going to finish that sentence. Jeez Louise. It's a good one, though. Jeez Louise. Okay, cool. That's better. Anyway, yeah, that's one possible manifestation of the astrological influences. For others of you, another way that this could manifest, or for some of you, all of these can manifest. You could have lung problems during the month. Some of you could have nervous system problems too, and problems other than it's gonna mention as well. So hopefully most of you don't. Jeez, I'm just giving possibilities here, and most of you, this will manifest. Maybe take one or two manifestations I'm talking about here, and hopefully, the not so negative ones I list. Yeah. So yeah, but just be aware of that this month. Before I said regarding health and shit, regarding this placement. But anyway, another manifestation this could take is the third house and Gemini both represent. Well, the third house represents the neighborhood and stuff like that you live in. So for some of you, you could experience problems in your neighborhood, or restrictions, or delays, or limitations in your neighborhood, because they represent smaller communities, like like a neighborhood or block, or stuff like that, right? So for some of you, this could indicate, since the third house represents short trips and travel, short journeys and travels and stuff like that, like a journey to another town, or a journey to work and back, or a journey to the mall or something like that. So with that being said, for some of you, you could experience problems regarding your vehicles, or regarding your transportation methods, that you use. Um, you could experience restrictions or delays, or limitations regarding those. Maybe your car needs to be fixed or something like that, right? Hmm. Saturn can represent like construction and forms and stuff like that. It represents one of the primary significations, one of the integral significations of Saturn is form and structure, right? So this could represent that perhaps some construction is going on in your community, in your neighborhood, renovations, stuff like that. For some of you. The third house represents elementary school and high school to some extent. So this can mean that for some of you with children, perhaps there are restrictions going on or limitations or blockages in their school of some sort, which would make sense considering the times that we're in. Gemini in the third and can both indicate like learning and reading and stuff like that, and gathering information. So for some of you, you could have limitations or restrictions regarding learning, or reading, or gathering or applying information, or learning new skills. For some of you, you could experience limitations or restrictions or blockages regarding acquaintances or neighbors. Mhm, mhm. Yeah, these are some of the possible manifestations. Um, Saturn in general represents hard work. So, for, a fair bit of you, this is going to be a month where there's going to be more work than usual to be done. Um, um, for some of you, this can mean that there's going to be more short journeys this month, more, more commutes, more short travels, more errands to run, right? Um, yeah, that's that's about everything, I'd say. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Gemini in third also represents communication. So some of you could have troubles or blockages or limitations regarding communication. Um, perhaps uh, for some of you, um, um, hmm, hmm, perhaps for some of you, maybe you're at a loss for something to say. It's on the tip of your tongue, right? You just can't get it. It just happened here. Um, anyway, um, yeah, some of you, yeah, you may miscommunicate. Jeez, exactly, right? For some of you, you might miscommunicate. You may say things in the wrong way. And so, with that being said, or for some of you, people around you may miscommunicate and may, not really get their point across that they wanted to, right? So with that being said, the best way to, navigate that is to, think about what you say, and to, and if something comes out wrong, then, to go back and, say it properly the next time, right? And if, if someone else in your day-to-day conversations, says something that confuses you or seems, kind of, what's the word for it? Atypical or something that's, what? They just said that, or, if they say something that kind of seems unusual, right? Then maybe it'd be an idea to ask for clarification on it, and that way it just kind of prevents misunderstandings and all that. So, um, yeah, that's what I'm getting for the astrological influences. And with that being said, we're going to start the tarot card reading for the month. I'm going to be doing a Celtic cross reading. Hmm. That's one of the cards that came with the deck. Hmm. It's not one of the actual tarot cards. It's just one of the ones that, little scary bow or something crap. Love the advertising cards, right? Interesting. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Okay, so there are 4 Wands cards in the spread. There are 2 Disc cards, and there are 2 Swords cards. This indicates that during the month, one of the primary themes is going to be that of heightened activity. There's going to be a lot going on. It's going to be a month of high energy, a lot of rapid movement, a lot of energy expended, a lot of things set in motion, perhaps projects on the plate. And then we have 2 Swords cards and 2 Pentacles. So besides the high energy theme of the month, high activity, the next most important or prominent things are going to be money and finances and your health and body, and then 2 Swords cards. So there's going to be another important thing is going to be communication and mental activity. I wouldn't say necessarily increased mental activity, but there's going to be some communications this month and mental activity this month, right? But not to a necessarily a high extent, like with the energy factor and the activity that's signified by the high number of Wands cards. There are no Cups cards in this spread. And there's no water placements in the astrological influences either. So it doesn't look like love or emotions. It doesn't look like this is going to be a highly emotional month for you Capricorns. It doesn't look like love or romance is going to be super prominent this month. It seems like the biggest factor this month is career and activity and motivation and inspiration, which are things signified by the Wands cards, as well as activity, energy. I think I already said that, but yeah. It's a high energy month, a lot of activity. But anyway, the first card is the 4 of Wands. So this is where you're at going into September 2020, Capricorns. This indicates that starting the month, you're celebrating something. You're this could be a completion of something, a graduation of some sort. It could be a party. It could be could be a wedding for some of you. This card signifies weddings. It could be well, it's a period of happiness, right? Going into the month. It's it's a good card to represent where you're at, where you're starting from in September. what we have as the surrounding card for the month, which is card number 2, which is what surrounds the native during the month, we have the Lovers. So this indicates that during September 2020, well, an obvious interpretation of that would be that you know, there's someone who's romantically interested in you, who's around you during the month, Capricorns. This may be someone who you're in a relationship with. This may be someone who wants to be in a relationship with you. But regardless, it's someone who has romantic feelings towards you, most likely, for most of you. For some of you, this could represent that choice surrounds you, an important choice that you have to make, and that it's affecting your situation in general. And it's lingering or looming overhead throughout the month, or for at least you know, a chunk of it. For some of you, this could represent that there's a spirit of like cooperation and peace around you, yeah, or you know, yeah, an energy of, you know, cooperation or peace or harmony, greater harmony that surrounds you this month. Yeah, so perhaps for some of you, in previous months there was discord or, you know, disharmony, you know, around you, and so this month there may be greater harmony and greater peace and understanding, you know, around you. If you're in conflict or, you know, of any sort previous to this month. Yeah. For card number 3, we have the Knight of Swords. What this indicates is, this card is the card that's crossing you during the month. What this indicates, the Knight of Swords in that position indicates that there's a debate that's, or a conflict of some sort that's crossing you during the month, or blocking or slowing your progress. Yeah, a conflict or a debate or an argument of some sort that's likely, well, very likely still unresolved, right? For some of you, this could represent a specific person that's slowing your progress during the month. This person would likely be an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, or the person could have like if they're an air sign, right, they'd have sun, moon, or planets. They'd have the sun, moon, or rising sign or part of fortune in air sign, or they could have several planets in air signs, or it could just be a person with characteristics that are that correlate with the Knight of Swords. So argumentative, impulsive. They can rush to conclusions. It'd be a person who's, as far as age goes, it'd be someone who's, young adult to 30s. It wouldn't be any much older than that. Yeah. For some of you, this could indicate that the characteristics of the Knight of Swords, could be within yourself, could be blocking or slowing your progress. So that could indicate for some of you that that, you know, your impulsiveness could be blocking your progress. or slowing your progress, or jumping to conclusions could be blocking or slowing your progress, or that being too argumentative or could be blocking or slowing your progress. Mhm. Yeah. For some of you, it could represent an external argument or debate. It could be slowing or blocking your progress. Yeah. Anyway, we have this is card number 4, which is your foundation. Okay. And this is the 3 of Pentacles. What this indicates is that during the month, crucial to your foundation is, your job, your employment, your apprenticeship, whatever it is you may be, doing for work. That's going to be foundational to your, situation during the month. So perhaps your work life or your career or your apprenticeship or, becomes more prominent this month. And it's something that, perhaps you start apprenticing with someone. Perhaps a project is critical to your foundation this month. This card can represent reputation. So perhaps your reputation is foundational to your situation this month. So with that being said, among those various possibilities, it would be an idea to nurture those things, perhaps more attentively this month than you would normally, because they're important. Yeah. In card number 5, we have the 9 of Wands. This indicates, Capricorns, that during the month, or leading up to September 2020, leading up to present, circumstances, was a period of, time where perhaps you were attacked, perhaps you were perhaps you were attacked, perhaps you were had oppressive circumstances thrust upon you. Perhaps you perhaps for some of you, suspicion led up to this month. Perhaps you're suspicious of something. Perhaps or someone or some people. Perhaps for some of you, you being guarded, led you up to this month. Led you up to present circumstances. Anyway, fucking. For some of you, this would indicate that this is a 9. There are 10, cards in each suite or each suit. So, with that being said, this could indicate for some of you that a completion is at hand. And that a lot of things have already, taken place that have contributed to, the final stage of a situation or project or something that's taking place now. Yeah. In the crowning position, which is card number 6, we have the Ten of Swords. The crowning position card is a card that, may or may not, it represents an energy that may or may not come into play. It's mutable. It will come into play for some of you, and for some of you, it won't even really be a factor. This could indicate that, for some of you, the worst could be over during the month, September. For some of you, this could indicate that the worst could happen during September. For some of you, this could indicate that, during September, there could be an overreaction to, something, some situation or circumstance. Mm, 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 mm. Mm. Hmm. Yeah, based on the astrological influences I said earlier, with the possibility of nervous system issues or lung or respiratory issues during the month. Yeah, uh, that's another indication that something regarding your health could be an issue for you this month. Especially regarding those areas. So with that being said, yeah, like I said, see your doctor and all that. If see your doctors and the appropriate professionals and all that, and make sure you take the precautions so that you don't get coronavirus or some nervous system issue or whatever because yeah, like I said, that card indicates that the worst could happen during the month, right? But it also indicates it's more likely, more so that for more of you, that the worst could be over um, in September. Um, what we have here for card number 7 is the Eight of Wands. What this indicates, the Eight of Wands in this is the near future position. Geez Louise, throat's getting dry. Yeah, throat is kind of part of the respiratory system, or kind of. Uh, Jeez Louise. Yeah, I'm taking my pants off. It's fucking hot up here. Anyway, fucking, yeah, we have the Eight of Wands in the near future position of the spread. What this indicates is that during September 2020, around the middle of the month, there's going to be a lot of rapid movement happening, a lot of rapid things happening fast, things manifesting fast, things, rapid communications, rapid circumstances, and things set into motion, and running their course pretty quickly. It's going to be a period of high activity during the middle of the month. And, the thing is with that, this is a positive card. So, with that being said, though, the one issue with it is that, be careful with the things that you set in motion around the middle of the month, because, once you set them in motion, the things indicated by this card, they're set in motion. Once you set them in motion, a lot of those things, it's going to be hard to, stop that, or take it back or anything like that, right? So, that being said, the advice there would be to, think about the things that you set into motion, and to, consider them well thoroughly beforehand, right? That way, you don't have regrets later on, right? Yeah. This could represent a lot of messages and communications, negotiations, conferences, calls, stuff like that. Rapid movement, rapid travel, a lot of short journeys it could represent, which would be, in line with the astrological significations that I talked about earlier. For card number 8, which is how you should present yourself during the month, we have the Temperance card. Jeez Louise, it is fucking hot up here. Jeez Louise. Anyway, yeah. We have the Temperance card as card number 8. So, in card number 8, it represents how you should present yourselves during the month, Capricorn. Capricorns. This represents Capricorns that during the month, it'd be an idea to present yourself as someone with a lot of coals on fire, someone with a lot of projects that you're working on. Present yourself as someone who's active, who's highly active. Present yourself as someone who's, for some of you, this could represent, present yourself as someone who's trying to find balance or equilibrium in a situation, or if yourself. For some of you, this could represent, present yourself as being more willing to compromise, to find, for some of you, this could represent present yourself as being like a scientist, as thinking like a scientist, someone who changes one variable at a time and sees what the effects are. For some of you, this could represent, present yourself as someone who's trying to bring harmony to a situation or circumstances. Someone who's trying to find harmony. Some of you, this could present yourself as, present yourself as, during the month, as making a decision and not being sure about it yet, and still pondering. Yeah, those are possible manifestations. With any of these, descriptions I've talked about, some of them, for some of you, a lot of them may resonate, and for some of you, a moderate amount will resonate. So, take what resonates and leave the rest, right? But yeah. But yeah, anyway, for card number 9, we have the 9 of Pentacles. What that indicates is during the month, Capricorns, other people are likely going to see you as being very independent, and people are going to see you as having gained something. People are going to see you as being people, some people are going to see you as not really needing anyone. Some people are going to see you as being someone who's, tamed their impulses. Some people are going to see you as, getting the rewards that you richly deserve. Some people are going to see you as, earning something. Some of you are going to be seen as having earned, greater independence. Yeah. It's not a bad card. Yeah, it's a good card, actually. Yeah. For card number 10, we have the Fool. So during the month of September, card number 10 represents your fears regarding the situation. So during September of 2020, Capricorns, your fears regarding the month are going to be regarding your own lack of knowledge for some of you. For some of you, it's going to be regarding looking foolish. For some of you, it's going to be, you're going to have fears regarding taking a leap of faith, or having trust, in a situation or a person or, a venture of some sort. For some of you, you may have a fear of the unknown. For some of you, you may have a fear of a fresh start, or a new beginning. For some of you, you may have fears regarding trust or faith. For some of you, you may have fears regarding a foolish person. For some of you, you may have fears regarding a person who's taking a leap of faith of some sort. Yeah, those are possibilities. For card number 11, we have the King of Wands. Card number 11 represents what's going to happen around the end of the month for Capricorns. This indicates for many of you, or most of you I'd say, that around the end of the month, a leader of some sort is going to become more prominent in your life. This person is going to be, this person is likely to be in their 30s upwards. It's more likely to be a man than a woman. 2 to 1 chance of being a man, but could be a woman too, but more likely a man. Um, it would likely be a man who's a fire sign, a man or a woman who's fire sign, but like I said, more likely a man. So it'd be Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. So Sun, Moon, Rising, part of fortune, or um, uh, multiple planets in those signs. Um, um, or it could be a person embodying fire sign characteristics, right? So this person would be a leader. The person would be intelligent, um, experienced, wise, um, high energy, um, dynamic, strong, powerful, um, self-aware, um, a boss, like a king, alpha, someone like that. Um, uh, Charming, talented, um, a Renaissance man, someone with a diverse range of interests, someone who's independent, someone who can think for themselves, you know, someone who's receptive to other people's opinions, and they'll listen to others' opinions. But at the end of the day, they're going to make their own. They're going to make their mind up about things, right? Even if they think over, other opinions or all that, right? So, it's going to be a decisive person, someone who's honest, most likely, someone who's authentic, someone who's mm, mm, could be a pioneer, someone highly creative, intuitive. Um, the King of Wands is the strongest king in the deck, but the Emperor, I mean, is stronger still than any of the kings. But uh, mm, highly masculine, um, highly masculine characteristics. Mm, mm, yeah, someone like that is going to play for most of you, a more pivotal role for you by the end of the month. Um, it's likely going to be a person in a position of authority, who's established, um, most likely. Hmm. Um, for some of you, less of you, I'd say. Definitely, yeah, I'd say less of you. For most of you, it's going to be a person, an outward person, that's going to express these characteristics by the end of the month. But for some of you, you may, Capricorns, display more King of Wands characteristics by the end of the month. So for some of you, you could become more of a leader, more alpha, more of a, um, perhaps more authentic, perhaps more dynamic, powerful, right? Um, for some of you, you may gain, greater authority. Um, for some of you, you may gain status in some way. For some of you, you may become a pioneer or become more creative, or have like an idea by the end of the month that's that could be that could pay dividends later on, right? If it's nurtured well. Yeah. Um, hmm. Overall, it's a good reading. Um, it's a high activity month, and mm, so get your rest and sleep, and eat well and exercise and all that stuff. And like I said, regarding the astrological placements, be careful and mindful about your health as well. But with that being said, yeah, it's overall good reading. There's going to be a fair bit of work to do this month. There's going to be a fair bit of activity, energy expended. Um, Things are going to be happening. Things are going to be happening fast and often. So, get ready and be prepared, and yeah, 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 get your rest, and exercise and eat well, and you'll be better prepared for all the heightened activity that's going to be happening this month. Yeah. And if you do that, then by the end of the month, it definitely looks like you're going to gain ground. And yeah. Um, anyway, that's the end of the reading. Um, yeah. Overall, yeah, it's a good month. But yeah, there are definitely some potential hurdles or challenges that could be happening for you. So probably one of the bigger pieces of advice I could give, that I've already said earlier on, it might be an idea to wear those masks this month, and watch out for your respiratory system, your nervous system, and all that. Yeah. Um, yeah. And no, that's it. Yeah. Anyway, that's all. And have a good month, Capricorns.